Podcasting from Woodstock, Georgia, welcome to Soul Solutions, a show where we overcome our fears and our limiting beliefs. I'm your host, author, and certified life coach, Terry Kozlowski. Episode 68. See how to expand truth in your life. Truth is something you say you want to have in your life. No one wants to be lied to. You want to believe what's on the news is real. But truth is a powerful concept. Many consider facts to be the truth, and they are. But experiences are genuine as well. So my experience differs from yours, but aren't they still valid for each of us? See, truth is expansive, and you must expand your ideas of what truth is for you. When you are aligned with your truth, life becomes enchanting. You no longer are reacting to life out of fear, but consciously responding from a place of love. Living your truth is about synchronicities and meaning, supporting you in magical ways. This force of energy, which is truth, allows you to get into the flow of life. There is less struggle and more awareness of the mysteries of living. But how do you discover what your truth is, align with it, or expand it beyond what you think you know? Here are some principles of truth and practical ways to develop what you consider to be true for you. Your ego hides the truth. As I've stated before, your ego wants to protect you, and it will lie to you if it thinks it's the best way to keep you safe. So just because you've had a thought doesn't mean it's true. Because of my childhood trauma, my ego wants to protect me from Hispanic men. But I've only had one negative experience in my lifetime with Hispanic men. Therefore, my ego's concerns are no longer valid. You must become aware of this tool of the ego so that you can discover your truth. It can seem benign. For example, it's okay for me to have this cookie because I'll start eating better tomorrow. But over time, these lies the ego tells us gets more harmful. So the truth is more than words or thoughts. The ego doesn't like the truth because it hurts, and the egoic mind avoids discomfort. When you look into the mirror of genuineness, it shows you honesty and candor, even those unpleasant parts of yourself. This accuracy is what the ego is looking to avoid. It wants to pretend that distasteful aspects aren't there, and if you ignore them, no one else will see them either. Again, another lie. Truth forces you to see the good and the regretful parts of your character. Social conditioning is contrary to authentic living. The process of teaching people how to respond to life situations that are approved by society is what I mean by social conditioning. What society considers usual or customary responses, or ideologies that most cultures deem acceptable. Some are helpful, and others hinder freedom of expression, which squelch individuality. Sadly, society doesn't favor individualism, uniqueness, or thinking for yourself. On the contrary, it almost seems to discourage people from being authentic in favor of conformity. Even your family had generational patterns of behavior passed down to you, which you need to overcome and unlearn. Children obey and correct behaviors to please parents. Then as teenagers, you conform to peer pressure, so you feel accepted. Finally, as adults, you adapt your dreams to imitate what society deems as successful, only to discover how miserable you are. Why? Because you're living a lie. And who you authentically are has been buried under the masks and labels others told you to wear to conform. I think midlife crises occur when you realize you can no longer live a lie. When your awareness is restored, you need to recognize the need to discover who you authentically are and what your truth is outside of societal conditioning. Letting go of the fear that society won't accept you allows you to rediscover who you authentically are. Your truth, your authenticity, is what the world needs more than your nonconformity. Only by allowing authentic people to be themselves can we heal the global community. transforming your fear into truth. Everyone has been conditioned by the families they came from and society, and the fear of not conforming has been instilled in you since you were a small child. Therefore, it makes sense that your egoic mind's primary drive has been conformity, so that society will accept you. Your transformation comes when you change what controls your decision making. Is it going to be your egoic mind or your soul? Only when you are listening to the whispers of your heart can you live your truth. The ego's purpose is to protect, even if it has to lie to shelter you. Self-preservation is the primary goal, and most social conditioning centers on this exact purpose. When you remember who you authentically are and restore the conscious communication with your soul, can you expand your mind and determine your truth. What your soul is seeking is meaning and a way to serve. What is so miraculous about this transformational process is that once you allow your authenticity to shine, your egoic mind will become subservient to the soul and align with it. When you see the truth, you know it. However, it may not feel pleasant because the candor may feel uncomfortable. So when the soul calls and you're going to follow it for the first time, it can feel scary. But if you get quiet, it will reassure you so you can move in the right direction. Acceptance reveals truth. When you accept what is, whatever the situation, it stops the struggle against the flow of life. Maybe you need to assume some responsibility for the circumstances you found yourself in rather than blame others, thus escalating the situation instead of making it better. Or stop making excuses for others' unacceptable behavior towards you and instead learn to set personal boundaries. When you face the truth and acknowledge what is, how do you feel? You may think that you feel afraid, but the reality is you feel relief. Why? Because when you accept what is and the truth is revealed, you can now look for a solution or the next best steps to take. The egoic mind thinks the truth is painful, but the discomfort you feel is actually you facing the unknown. The ego doesn't like not knowing what to do or an unfamiliar condition. Furthermore, acceptance shows you the truth of the situation. It's a force that has been burning within you to see the reality before you, which you've rejected or rationalized. Acceptance of the truth of your situation is the only way you can move forward with the life in the direction you want to go. Therefore, living your truth has an integrity component. It's not a one-time declaration like the lies of the ego, but a conscious choice each day to pick acceptance and genuineness. Finding your way to alignment. Everyone knows what's true for them. You have felt it, the gut feeling, the inner knowing. But unfortunately, many people aren't tuning into the soulful response because the egoic mind controls their reactions. Here are some examples of living your truth. Responding from a place of love instead of reacting out of fear. Knowing your power, self-confidence, joy, and peace are soulful qualities that arise from within you and aren't external forces for you to seek. You are living your life by maintaining your values, even if others disagree with you. You are saying no to something you don't want to do, instead of being concerned about someone else's feelings. Being creative without fearing judgment for your artistic expression. Respecting your intuition and knowing there are times to be analytical as long as you're not going against your soulful self. Understanding you can change your negative thoughts and feelings for better ones because they aren't who you authentically are. Finding your truth is about everyday choices that you make. It's not a philosophical adjustments made to your belief system, but the expansion of your mind to be more aware of your heart's whispers. See, finding your truth is simply you being authentically you. When you live your authentic life, you trust your intuition and you follow your heart because you know you're doing the best for yourself. It's not about selfishness. That's the lie the ego tells you to get you to conform to what others desire, not what's in your best interest. Discerning the voices. The egoic mind and the soul speak to you continually. So how do you determine who's communicating with you? Here are some questions you can ask yourself to help you recognize the speaker. Number 1, are you seeing new opportunities or potential dangers? If you are still avoiding new adventures due to fear, then it's the ego speaking. If, however, you are excited to try something you've never done before, that's the soul. It's encouraging you to grow and expand. Number 2, are you focusing on the journey or the destination? What I mean by this statement is, are you focused on the present moment or the future? If you're looking ahead to the outcome, then your ego is chattering. But on the other hand, if you're fully present and enjoying what you are doing, you are aligned with your soul. Number 3, how do you perceive your missteps? If you are looking for the lesson you are to learn, then the soul is addressing you. However, suppose you're beating yourself up and not forgiving yourself for the oversight you made. In that case, the egoic mind is lecturing you. Number 4, when challenges present themselves, how do you handle them? Are you facing them head-on with confidence because you trust your intuition and know your purpose? Or are you avoiding, blaming, and looking for ways to circumvent the situation because of egoic fear? Authentic living means constantly evaluating how you are addressing life. Being fully present helps you determine which voice is trying to control your actions. Choose the loving response by following your heart. Living your truth is action-oriented. Living life inherently implies actions you take each day. So living your truth means your daily decisions align with your authenticity. What do I mean by this? For example, are the clothes you wear what you think others prefer or are comfortable for you? So again, it's not about grandiose ideas. These simple day-to-day choices, which allow you to be authentically you, have the most impact because they add up. Each option brings you closer or farther away from your truth, your authentic self. Once you allow your light to shine for others to see, you need to reinforce those mindsets and habits because you want to interact authentically and live out your dreams. Understand that the egoic mind will still try to lie to you, so you need to reinforce the changes you've made. The stronger your ties to your truth are, the easier the day-to-day choices will be. One day your actions will be more effortless because you clearly hear the whispers of your heart and trust your intuition without question instead of entertaining the egoic lies. Furthermore, you will begin to look for the opportunity before you when you recognize the ego is lying, and you'll be excited for the limitless potential before you. So knowing what your truth looks and feels like for you is vital. When you realize your fears and limiting beliefs, the reframing process helps you reinforce the mindset shift. Moving forward by living your truth. Knowing who you authentically are the basis of being able to live your truth. As you base your choices on your values over the conformity to societal norms, your ego will align with your soulful purpose. This alignment is the miracle of living a wondrous life, where magic becomes typical and synchronicities occurs to reinforce your trust in your intuition. As this coalition occurs, you will notice subtle changes in your perception. For example, you won't feel you have to do anything, but instead are choosing to do whatever it is before you. You will no longer see opportunities as risks, but as adventures that you are excited to begin. And you are focused on the present moment instead of the results of your actions. When you live authentically over time, you living your truth becomes your default response to life. So let go of the social conditioning and be authentically you. See, it's not about doing anything. It's just about you being mindful and authentically yourself. You've always been there, waiting to come out and be seen. Inspire others by being their example of how to live their truth. Do you need help to discover your truth? Do you need help to allow your authenticity to shine? If so, please reach out to me at terrykozlowski.com and we can put together an action plan for you to create the life you desire. To learn more about how I overcame my childhood trauma and expanded my truth, you can do so by reading my book, Raven Transcending Fear. The link is in the show notes, or you can go to raventranscendingfear.com. Thanks for listening to Soul Solutions with Terry Kozlowski. If you'd like the show and want to learn more, check out terrykozlowski.com, where you can find the links to everything we talked about in this episode. Please subscribe to the show so you'll never miss an episode as we overcome our fears and our limiting beliefs.